Dr. Jaylen Washington adjusted his stethoscope, the cold metal grounding him as he stepped into the ICU at Peachtree Medical Center. The room smelled of antiseptic, its silence broken only by the steady beep of monitors tracking Elena Whitmore's fragile life. The wealthy socialite, comatose for 3 weeks after a car accident, lay still, her face pale against the crisp white sheets. Catherine Whitmore, Elena's daughter, blocked Jaylen's path, her designer heels clicking on the polished floor. "Excuse me? Are you the help?" she snapped, her voice sharp with disdain. "We need a real doctor for my mother." Jaylen's jaw tightened, but he clutched the silver locket in his pocket, its engraved words, "Rise above, shine within," a gift from his adoptive mother, whispering strength. "I'm Dr. Washington, your mother's neurologist," he said, voice steady despite the familiar sting of prejudice. He moved past her, focusing on Elena's chart. As he checked her pupils, a faint flicker caught his eye, a response to light, the first in weeks. His heart quickened. This wasn't just routine. He began changing her bandage, his hands precise, defiant Catherine's glare. A nurse's radio crackled softly, Aretha Franklin's Respect filling the air. Jaylen hummed along, the tune a tether to his childhood, to his mother's voice urging him to stand tall. Catherine's eyes narrowed, but Jaylen kept working, his resolve unshaken. He didn't know it yet, but this moment, this patient, would change everything. The halls of Peachtree Medical Center gleamed under harsh fluorescent lights, but whispers of doubt shadowed Dr. Jaylen Washington. His white coat felt like armor, yet colleagues' skeptical glances cut deep. Aretha Franklin's Respect crackled from a nurse's radio, its soulful beat echoing Atlanta's vibrant pulse. Jaylen, 35, was a neurologist with a rare gift for diagnostics, driven to honor his adoptive mother's legacy. Raised on Auburn Avenue, where jazz clubs and soul food joints thrummed with black pride, he dreamed of funding scholarships for black medical students. Yet every shift brought microaggressions, side eyes, hushed comments that tested his spirit. In the break room, a colleague muttered, "He's good, but he doesn't fit the image." Jaylen's fingers found the silver locket in his pocket, engraved with "Rise above, shine within." He opened it, the words conjuring his mother singing Respect at Juneteenth barbecues, her voice a shield against doubt. Dr. Richard Patterson, a senior neurologist with a polished smile, strode in. "Nice assist on that treatment plan, Washington," he said, claiming Jaylen's work as his own. Jaylen's chest tightened, but he nodded, refusing to let Patterson's condescension dim his light. He passed a hospital mural of Atlanta's civil rights giants, Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, their faces etched with defiance. Jaylen's goal wasn't just success, it was to carve a path for others. Being the only black doctor in the room felt like carrying a city on his shoulders. Tasha, a black nurse and single mother, caught his eye near the ICU. "Keep shining, Doc," she said, slipping him a coffee with a warm smile. Her words echoed the locket's engraving, a spark of solidarity in a system that felt cold and unwelcoming. Jaylen paused at a window, Auburn Avenue's neon signs glowing faintly below. He remembered his mother dancing at the Sweet Auburn Festival, her laughter a promise he'd never be alone. The locket's weight steadied him, its message a quiet fire in his veins. Clutching Elena Whitmore's chart, Jaylen's earlier scorn like a fresh wound. The monitor's beeps called him to purpose. Humming Respect softly, he pushed open the ICU door, ready to prove them all wrong. Jaylen stood in the conference room, his hands steady but his heart pounding like a drum. Dr. Richard Patterson had just excluded him from a high-profile neuro conference, his voice sharp with dismissal. "You're not ready for the big leagues, Washington," he sneered, the words cutting deeper than any scalpel. Colleagues shuffled papers, their eyes darting away. The room's sterile air felt heavy, their silence screaming what they wouldn't say. His blackness marked him as less. Jaylen's jaw clenched, the familiar sting of being sidelined burning in his chest. He retreated to the break room, the fluorescent lights buzzing like a swarm of doubts. His fingers found the silver locket in his pocket. It's engraven, "Rise above, shine within, a beacon in the storm." He opened it, his adoptive mother's voice echoing, singing "Respect" at Auburn Avenue cookouts, her laughter urging him to stand tall. Jaylen's mind flashed to those summer nights, the smell of barbecue wafting through Atlanta's streets, kids dancing under string lights. His mother's words had been his armor, but today, Patterson's dismissal cracked it. He gripped the locket tighter, willing himself to keep going. Back in the ICU, Elena Whitmore's chart offered refuge. As he checked her reflexes, her fingers twitched faintly, a glimmer of progress. Jaylen's pulse quickened. He was onto something, a breakthrough Patterson would never credit him for. Tasha, the black nurse, lingered nearby, her eyes fierce with understanding. "I heard, Patterson," she whispered, her voice low but steady. "I've been passed over too, Jaylen. Years of night shifts, no promotions, just because I'm a black single mom." Her words struck a chord, their shared struggles knitting them closer. Tasha's teenage son dreamed of med school, she said, but faced the same barriers. Jaylen nodded, his resolve hardening like steel forged in fire. He adjusted Elena's IV, his hands precise despite the weight of Patterson's words. The monitors beeped steadily, a quiet promise of hope. Jaylen's mind raced, mapping out a new treatment plan, determined to prove his worth. Patterson's voice sliced through the silence. "Stick to the basics, Washington. Leave the real work to us." His smirk was a dare, his eyes glinting with condescension. Jaylen met his gaze, unyielding. "My patients deserve my best, Dr. Patterson," he said, voice calm but ironclad, "and they'll get it no matter what you think." Tasha's lips curved into a proud smile as Patterson stormed off. Outside, Atlanta's streets pulsed with life. A street performer's saxophone wailed Aretha Franklin's Respect, its soulful notes drifting through an open window. Jaylen clutched the locket, its cool metal grounding him. His mother's words burned bright, "Rise above, shine within." He turned back to Elena's chart, his heart set on proving them all wrong, one patient at a time. The Sweet Auburn Festival pulsed with life, Atlanta's streets alive with food stalls, jazz riffs, and laughter. Jaylen stood at the hospital's fundraiser booth, his white coat stark against the vibrant crowd. The scent of fried okra and the wail of a trumpet stirred memories of his mother, her voice singing Respect under these same streetlights. Catherine Whitmore, Elena's daughter, approached, her eyes cold. "You're cutting corners on my mother's care," she declared loudly, donors turning to stare. "We need someone qualified, not a diversity hire." The accusation hit like a punch, the crowd's murmurs amplifying Jaylen's humiliation. He gripped the silver locket in his pocket, its engraving "Rise above, shine within," steadying his racing heart. His mother's words echoed, "They can't dim your light unless you let them." Dr. Emily Carter, a white neurologist, stood nearby, her face tight with conflict. She'd clawed her way up from poverty, knowing the sting of being underestimated. "Catherine, Dr. Washington's plan is solid," she said, her voice wavering but firm, risking her own standing. Jaylen's chest ached with doubt. Would he ever belong? He opened the locket, its message a quiet fire. His mother's laughter at this very festival, dancing with him as a boy, reminded him he was enough. He stepped forward, voice steady. "I've proposed a new treatment for Elena, based on evidence," he said, addressing the crowd. "I'll prove it with results, not words." Later, in the hospital's quiet records room, Jaylen pored over Elena's chart. A subtle anomaly caught his eye, a rare neurological marker Patterson had missed. His pulse quickened. This could be the key to waken Elena, a chance to silence the doubters.
Tasha found him, her eyes bright with pride. "You stood tall out there," she said, her own dreams of her son in med school mirrored in Jaylen's fight. "Don't let Catherine's words break you." Jaylen nodded, the locket's weight grounding him. "I won't," he said, his mind racing with the new discovery. "This marker, it's a game changer. I'm volunteering for Elena's next procedure." Emily slipped in, holding a worn copy of a civil rights poem, "Still I Rise." "This got me through tough times," she said, her voice soft. "It's like your locket. Keep rising, Jaylen." The poem's lines echoed her mother's mantra, forging a bond with Emily. Jaylen tucked the poem beside Elena's chart, his resolve steeling. He was ready to fight, not just for Elena, but for his place in this world. Outside, the festival's music swelled, a saxophone weaving Aretha Franklin's Respect into the night. Jaylen's heart lifted, the notes carrying him back to Auburn Avenue's warmth. He clutched the locket, ready for the battle ahead, determined to shine. Jaylen's heart raced as he stepped into Peachtree Medical Center's auditorium, the air thick with anticipation. The hospital board had invited him to present Elena Whitmore's case at a national symposium, a rare chance to shine. His discovery of her neurological marker, overlooked by Dr. Patterson, had stabilized her condition, and now all eyes were on him. The auditorium buzzed, Atlanta's skyline glinting through tall windows. Jaylen adjusted his tie, the weight of being the only black doctor in the room pressing down. He clutched the silver locket, its engraving, "Rise above, shine within," a quiet anchor amidst the storm of doubt. Dr. Emily Carter caught his eye, her nod firm. "You've got this, Jaylen," she whispered, her own past of scraping by in a trailer park fueling her support. She'd faced sneers for her rough roots, and now she stood with him, an ally against the hospital's old guard. Jaylen took the stage, his voice steady as he outlined Elena's treatment. "Her marker suggests a tailored therapy," he said, slides flashing data he'd meticulously compiled. The board leaned forward, intrigued, but Patterson's scowl loomed from the back. Memories of Auburn Avenue flooded Jaylen, his mother dancing at Juneteenth, singing Respect under starlit skies. The locket's words burned in his chest, "Shine within." He wove them into his speech, a vow to rise above prejudice. A board member questioned, "Can we trust this approach?" The room tensed, skepticism hanging heavy. Jaylen's pulse spiked, but Emily's encouraging glance steadied him, her poem, "Still I Rise," echoing in his mind. He answered with precision, citing studies and Elena's progress. "This isn't just theory, it's saving a life," he said, his voice carrying the weight of years proving himself. The board nodded, some even clapping, a small victory against the tide of bias. Emily joined him backstage, her eyes bright. "You changed the room, Jaylen," she said, handing him a coffee. "Your mother would be proud." Her words mirrored Tasha's, tying their struggles together. But Patterson lingered, his voice low and venomous. "Don't get comfortable, Washington. One talk doesn't make you a star." His threat hung like smoke, a reminder of the fight ahead. Jaylen gripped the locket, its cool metal grounding him. He thought of his mother's laughter, her voice urging him to keep going. This symposium was a turning point, but the real battle was still to come. Outside, Atlanta's streets thrummed with life, a street vendor's radio playing Aretha Franklin's Respect. Tasha hummed along as she passed, her smile a beacon. Jaylen headed to Elena's room, his heart set on the next step, ready to rise higher.
Jaylen stood in the hospital boardroom, the air thick with tension. He was competing against Dr. Richard Patterson to lead Elena Whitmore's treatment, his innovative therapy based on the rare neurological marker on the line. Patterson's voice cut sharp. "You're out of your depth, son," the word son dripping with condescension. The board watched, their faces unreadable. Jaylen's heart pounded, but he gripped the silver locket, its engraving, "Rise above, shine within," steadying him. His mother's voice, singing Respect at Auburn Avenue's Juneteenth, echoed in his mind, urging him forward. He presented his plan, slides flashing data from Elena's chart. "This therapy targets her unique marker," he said, voice clear despite the weight of Patterson's glare. The board leaned in, intrigued, but doubt lingered in their eyes. Tasha slipped into the room, her expression urgent. She passed Jaylen a folded memo, whispering, "Found this in Patterson's files." It revealed Patterson had ignored Elena's early signs, prioritizing his own cases, a damning oversight. Jaylen's pulse raced. This was his edge. He held the memo up, calm but firm. "Dr. Patterson missed critical indicators," he said, handing it to the board chair, whose eyes widened. Patterson's face reddened, his voice a hiss. "That's irrelevant, Washington. You're still unproven." His words stung, but Jaylen's resolve burned brighter, fueled by the locket's mantra. He thought of his mother dancing under Atlanta streetlights, her laughter a shield against doubt. "My plan is evidence-based," Jaylen countered, his voice steady. "It's already showing results. Elena's reflexes are improving." The board chair nodded, scribbling notes. "We'll consider your proposal, Dr. Washington," she said, her tone shifting to respect. It was a small victory, but Patterson's scowl promised more battles ahead. Tasha squeezed Jaylen's arm as they left the room, her eyes gleaming. "You nailed it," she said, her own fight against bias mirrored in his stand. Her son's med school dreams felt closer, thanks to Jaylen's courage. Emily Carter waited outside, her smile warm. "You're changing things, Jaylen," she said, her own rise from poverty echoing his struggle. She handed him a dog-eared copy of Still I Rise, its words a twin to her locket's call. Jaylen clutched the locket, its cool metal a tether to his purpose. He walked toward Elena's room, the hospital halls quieter now, Atlanta's evening hum filtering through. A street vendor's radio played Aretha Franklin's Respect, its notes carrying the city's soul. Catherine stood by Elena's bed, her face softer, almost apologetic. She hummed Respect faintly, a song her mother loved, as Jaylen checked the monitors. He felt the locket's weight, ready for what came next, determined to keep rising. Jaylen stood by Elena Whitmore's bed, the ICU's sterile hum fading as her eyes fluttered open. "Jaylen?" she whispered, her voice frail but certain, piercing his heart. Catherine gasped, her face paling as the monitors beeped faster, signaling a miracle. Jaylen froze, his hand clutching the silver locket, its engraving, "Rise above, shine within, a lifeline." His mother's voice, singing Respect at Auburn Avenue's Juneteenth, clashed with this impossible moment. How did Elena know his name? Catherine's voice trembled. "Mom, you're awake. What's happening?" Elena's eyes, brimming with tears, locked onto Jaylen. "You're my son," she said, her words shattering the room's silence. Dr. Richard Patterson burst in, his face twisted with desperation. "Washington falsified data," he accused, waving a fabricated report to discredit Jaylen's treatment. The hospital director, present for Elena's awakening, frowned, demanding answers. Jaylen's heart raced, but the locket's weight grounded him. He stepped forward, voice steady. "Check the records. My plan woke her," he said, his mother's mantra burning bright, "Shine within." Elena reached for her purse, trembling hands pulling out a faded photo. It showed a young boy, Jaylen, at 3, before adoption. "I've carried you with me always," she whispered, tears falling. Catherine stared, her prejudice crumbling. She'd dismissed Jaylen, yet he'd saved her mother who'd given him up decades ago. The irony stung, her eyes welling with shame. Jaylen took the photo, his fingers shaking. Memories of his adoptive mother's love, her respect filling Auburn Avenue's nights, anchored him. He faced the director, voice unwavering. "I've fought for Elena's life, despite every obstacle." The director reviewed the records, then turned to Patterson. "Your report's baseless, Richard," she said, her tone final. "Dr. Washington's work stands." Patterson's face fell, his power unraveling.
Jaylen addressed the room, clutching the locket. "This hospital needs unity," he said, weaving rise above, shine within into a call for change. "We heal when we see each other's humanity." Tasha, watching from the doorway, wiped tears, her son's med school dreams now closer. Emily Carter nodded, her copy of Still I Rise tucked in her pocket, her own journey mirrored in Jaylen's triumph. Elena grasped Jaylen's hand, her voice soft. "You've always shined," she said, echoing the locket's words. Catherine, voice breaking, whispered, "I'm sorry," her world shifting. Outside, Atlanta's streets glowed, a street vendor's radio playing Respect. The city's soul pulsed through the open window, wrapping Jaylen in warmth. He squeezed Elena's hand, ready to face their shared past, determined to keep rising.
The ICU's sterile hum faded as Jaylen stood by Elena's bed, her hand warm in his. The hospital director's ruling echoed in his mind. He was named head of neurology, a triumph over Patterson's schemes. Catherine, her eyes red, whispered, "I'm sorry, Dr. Washington. I was wrong." Jaylen's heart swelled, the silver locket in his pocket, rise above, shine within, a quiet reminder of his journey. His adoptive mother's voice, singing Respect at Auburn Avenue's Juneteenth, urged him to forgive. He nodded to Catherine, a silent bridge forming. Catherine stepped forward, her voice steady. "I'm funding a scholarship in your name," she said, her prejudice unraveling. "It's for Black medical students to honor what you've done." The room felt lighter, hope replacing tension. Tasha burst in, her smile wide. "You did it, Doc," she said, her own dreams for her son's med school future now brighter. She hugged Jaylen, her warmth an echo of the locket's call to shine. The hospital announced a diversity initiative inspired by Jaylen's stand. Colleagues who once sidelined him now sought his input, their nods genuine. Peachtree Medical Center, once cold, began to feel like a community. Jaylen visited the records room, reflecting on his path. He pulled out the locket, its engraving glinting under the fluorescent lights. He thought of his mother, dancing at the Sweet Auburn Festival, her laughter a promise kept. He found Tasha's son, Marcus, a shy teenager with big dreams, in the hospital cafeteria. "This is for you," Jaylen said, pressing the locket into his hands. "Rise above, shine within, never forget it." Marcus's eyes widened, clutching the locket like a treasure. "I'll make you proud, Dr. Jaylen," he said, his voice cracking. Tasha wiped tears, her gratitude unspoken but deep. Emily Carter joined them, her copy of Still I Rise tucked in her pocket. "You've changed this place," she said, her own rise from poverty mirrored in Jaylen's victory. She smiled, a partner in their shared fight. Patterson's office stood empty. He'd retired quietly, his influence faded. The hospital's halls buzzed with new energy, doctors collaborating across divides. Jaylen felt his mother's spirit in every step, her legacy alive. He walked past the civil rights mural, King, Lewis, their eyes fierce with hope. Atlanta's skyline glowed beyond the window, Auburn Avenue's neon signs flickering like stars. A street band's rendition of Respect drifted in, wrapping Jaylen in warmth. Jaylen stood taller, Elena's recovery and Catherine's change a testament to his fight. He touched where the locket had been, its message now in Marcus's hands. Atlanta's soul pulsed around him, urging him to keep shining. Jaylen stood on a stage at Atlanta's Juneteenth festival, Auburn Avenue alive with music and laughter. The crowd's applause roared, their faces reflecting the city's vibrant soul. He shared his story, overcoming prejudice, saving Elena, finding his birth mother, his voice steady, heart full. Peachtree Medical Center had transformed, now a national model for inclusivity. Jaylen's scholarship program, funded by Catherine, sent Black students like Marcus to med school. The hospital's halls, once cold, buzzed with collaboration, a testament to his fight. Jaylen's fingers brushed his pocket, where the locket once rested. Its engraving, "Rise above, shine within," now framed on his office wall, glinted in his mind. His adoptive mother's voice, singing respect under these same festival lights, felt alive in every cheer. Marcus approached, clutching the locket Jaylen had given him. "I got into Emory's pre-med program," he said, eyes shining. Tasha beside him beamed, her sacrifices as a single mother now bearing fruit. Jaylen mentored dozens, his office a haven for young dreamers. He taught them to rise above, just as his mother had. The locket's message, passed to Marcus, sparked a new generation to shine. Catherine and Elena joined him backstage, their bond with Jaylen growing. "You've changed us," Catherine said, her old biases gone. Elena, frail but radiant, squeezed his hand, whispering, "I'm so proud." Marcus Carter stood nearby, her copy of Still I Rise worn from reading. "You've built a legacy," she said, her own rise from poverty mirrored in Jaylen's triumph. Their shared fight had forged a lasting friendship. The festival's energy pulsed, vendors selling peach cobbler, a saxophone wailing respect. Jaylen remembered his mother dancing here, her laughter blending with Atlanta's soul. Her spirit lived in the city's warmth, in every step he took. He visited the hospital's civil rights mural often, King, Lewis, their eyes fierce with hope. It now included a plaque honoring his work, a symbol of change. Colleagues, once distant, now called him by name, their respect hard-won. Jaylen's scholarship grew, funding 10 students this year alone. Marcus, wearing the locket, shadowed him in the ICU, learning to heal. Tasha watched, her pride a quiet fire, mirroring Jaylen's own. At night, Jaylen walked Auburn Avenue, neon signs glowing like stars. The city's heartbeat, carried by respect on a street band's radio, wrapped him in peace. He'd risen above, shined within, and changed lives. On the stage, Jaylen paused, Elena and Catherine beside him. The locket's gleam, now Marcus's, caught the light as the crowd roared. "Against all odds," he said, voice strong, "we rise, we shine, and we build a legacy that echoes our city's song."